All right. Well, one dimension of a 10x relationship is the right brain, is the feminine. And I want to talk about art. So, to explore the aspect of art, I'm going to put on a mask that I painted some weeks ago. And I did this project as part of another video series where I'm touching the ineffable for me, meaning that which is beyond my cultural reference point. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it doesn't have a system that's very articulatable, but it's ineffable to me. It's not coming from a rational part of my brain in either the shape or the color. And so in that sense, it's reaching towards an unknown. And I'd like to put this on and explore the impact of art on relationship. Now, one of the reasons I'm diving in here is that, and this, by the way, it's an experiment, and what I'm saying here is not quite in keeping with the persona here, so we'll leave this by the side. I heard Robert Bly, one of our great poets and philosophers, really enjoy the book, and I recommend the book to all men, Iron John, talk about the fact that for a relationship in a traditional marriage where the woman holds the feminine pole, and so in some of our more modern iterations of the masculine and feminine balance, this can go back and forth. The man can be in the feminine pole, but it is important for the person who's holding the feminine pole to make art in order to keep the family, the marriage alive. So what is art? It's singing, it's masks, it's play, it's feminine energy, it's the movement, it's this intuitive connection between chaos and form. The form obviously having a certain structure for the eyes, for the mouth, fitting, being, an appropriate shape and size for a head, the form. But the intuitive aspect, you see, and you can see the camera is having a hard time figuring out what's going on because it doesn't fit the normal observing and measuring devices, because normal people don't use masks, so it's outside the algorithm. And this is, when we look at altered states of consciousness, one of the things that they do is they lay foundation for the mundane forms of consciousness, meaning the one exists in tension with another, altered by what definition? And so when we have more contrast, we have attention, but we also have more awareness. And one of the reasons within a marriage to have a strong expression of the masculine and feminine pole, whether it's in sexuality, in communication, a deep listener and a deep speaker at any given moment, a deep leader and a deep follower at any given moment, a deep opener and a deep penetrator at any given moment. One of the reasons it's important to have these strong poles is that consciousness, distinctions, individuality exists in the space between these poles. In this zoom out and this zoom in, this internal and external. When you have a strong sense of pole, it's one of the reasons that I've always enjoyed living about 20 minutes from a lover. 20 minutes is just enough barrier for the ritual of connecting on a daily basis to be a conscious ritual. Meaning you need a reason to drive 20 minutes, to walk 20 minutes. You need a reason. And without that reason, the question is the relationship dying? And when it takes an effort to tend, to pray at the altar of relationship on an almost daily basis, when it takes an effort and you invest that effort as a form of worship, as a form of prayer, as an investment in the future of that relationship, you have a sense of why you're doing it. There's an ache, there's a hunger, there's a sense, I miss my partner. I wonder what she would say if she was here. What would she think if she was watching this with me? How would she touch me in this moment? I want to know. What would I be doing? What would she be saying? How could I connect? What could we do? You see, and there's a question, and when you ask questions, you begin a quest. And one of the ways that relationships can die is when there's an absence of questions. And one of the questions that can die is, why are we together? Do I want to see you today? Do I want to go to your place, or do I want you to come to my place, or do I want to meet in a third place? You see, when you have the pole of two places, two separate spaces, when you have a pole, this question comes alive because it's a real question. Now, when you wake up in a small apartment or house with your partner, it's not intelligent to say, do I want to see my partner today? Do I want to roll over to her side of the bed, or her roll over to my side of the bed? Or go somewhere in between? The question, what do I most want to do today? And would I like to do it alone with this person or with my wife? Is also not a relevant question. When, in order to do a great deal of those things, or to meet in this way, etc., the person would have to not be there. In other words, the presence of a person erases the question. And with the question comes a certain erasure of emotion, of present feeling, of integration with the moment and the moment and the moment. Because one of the greatest gifts to a partner is to pray at the altar at relationship, is to say, yeah, I could have called anyone, but I wanted to call you. I could invite anyone, but I want to invite you. I could dance with anyone, but I'd like to dance with you. I don't have to. It's not written in stone. I feel that way again today. And if I don't, that's something to take note of, something to respect also, something to talk about. Yeah, I didn't feel like calling you today. I think I'm tired of this and this and this. See? This doesn't come up when you're living together because the not wanting to call is invisible because you don't have to. It's this difference between a preference and a luxury and something that is necessary and assumed. So one of the greatest things I think we can do in a 10x relationship is maintain a pole. This is my space. This is my space. And we have to make some effort and communicate to come into our space on a daily basis. Now, one of my favorite ways to imagine something like that is, given Western architecture as it presently is to have a 100-foot bridge or, and a doorbell between two, detached spaces, where I can kind of get a sense of you over there, and maybe you can kind of get a sense of me over here, and I have to walk towards the bridge and press a button or call you up and, are you open for company? Are you wanting to respond? Are you wanting some space? I think this is a really beautiful ritual. But let's change the subject. Because one of the things that I think makes a relationship, a 10x relationship, makes it transcendent, is having a transcendent reference point. So here's an example. What is something that is more important to you than the relationship? Not in the abstract sense, but in this particular relationship. What do you reference that in your eyes is more valuable than a relationship? Now, in a chauvinistic paradigm, it's a given that work is going to consume more time than relationship. Now, this has not been a given throughout all the tribes in human history. There have been many beautiful cultures where relating and the dance and the culture of relating was 80% of the life and the importance. And where, sure, you go off and get a little food or you do a little cooking and you do things together, but it's about the relationship. If you remember the time before granite countertops and Porsches and all of this stuff, a simpler form of architecture in a more tropical environment allows for a more minimalistic ritual of engaging. A more minimalistic ritual of engaging allows the relationship to be first. And one of the things to look for as a transcendent doorway is that a relationship with a partner, for example, a relationship with a man, is a doorway into the relationship with the masculine. Now, something I have enjoyed as, a cacophony or a blessing has been imagining making love with the goddess, with 1,000 faces of the goddess. Imagine that your partner is the goddess in 1,000 different faces, young and old, black, white, brown, this culture, this energy, that energy, alive, passive, open, assertive. Imagine making love with 1,000 faces and letting that energy flow through the duality between you and your partner. Seeing this face and making love to it all. A divine lovemaking. A blessing. Receiving the blessings through our partner of 1,000 different faces. Giving our devotion through our partner to the goddess of 1,000 faces. To the God of 1,000 faces. What does it mean? What does it mean to have one's partner be a doorway to the feminine, to the masculine, on the mundane? A doorway. You see, because it's an expression of our relationship between our own feminine and masculine energy. Now, here's what I mean. If you're the kind of bitch that's constantly nagging to your masculine parts, why don't you do better? You're nagging to yourself. If you're femininity, why couldn't you do better? You never do it good enough. That wasn't perfect. You didn't look right. You didn't wear the right clothes. You shouldn't have said that. You're constantly nagging. Your feminine self is constantly nagging your own masculine self. And now you're going to occupy a feminine pose within the relationship, right? You're going to be in the feminine pole. So now, your man, your partner, lesbian or otherwise, it doesn't matter. The other pole, the masculine pole, is going to be occupying that other side of the inner dialogue. There's a tendency to externalize the inner dance between the masculine and the feminine. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if your inner feminine is a whiner, and you move into a feminine pole with a masculine person, you're going to whine. And they're never going to do it good enough. And your expectation, like the internalized feminine, is that your job is to criticize and the other job is to provide. Well, we have both poles within us, and so we tend to externalize these conversations. And one of the ways that we pick a partner is by who fits the other side of the conversation. So I have a pretty healthy relationship with my masculine and feminine. My feminine side is able to feel whatever she wants and be told you have a right to feel it. My feminine is able to feel whatever she wants and be told, I want to hear what it is. My feminine is able to feel the full range of emotions. And I say, good on you. Feel them. Tell me about it. But she's not allowed to whine at my masculine. Because what my masculine says, as soon as my feminine starts, what should we do? What should we do? My masculine asks the feminine, okay, well, you're the one whining, so what do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. Well, then shut up. It's your job to figure out what we want to do if you're not happy. So you're not happy? Figure it out. You tell me when you know what you want, feminine. And I will work my ass off to give you what that is. You want a nice clothes, you want this jewelry, fine. We'll do it. If we don't have the money for it, we'll figure out how to earn more money. I'll work to make you happy. But your job is to do the work to be happy. And your job is to celebrate me. Your job is to say, yes, that's a good for you. That wasn't perfect. No, the mask bit, it didn't work. But you gave it a shot. And that's what I like about you, masculine. You made that sucker. You brought it down. You bought a $1,000 camera. You did this. You made things happen for me so that I get to sit back and watch your performance, because it's you, masculine, having to put things, and talk about this and come up with this and organize this. And I like it. I like seeing what's going on over there. So this is my partnering, with my masculine and my feminine. I want to know, how can I help you? What are you feeling? And I also communicate to my feminine. What do you need? Like, I'm feeling drained here. I'm not getting enough attention. I need some praise. And so this is the kind of relationship I have with a woman. A woman says, oh, I'm kind of cold, da-da-da-da-da. Well, what do you need? Oh, I don't know. Well, why are you talking to me about it? That's your job. Be an adult. Figure it out. Oh, I don't want to be with someone like that. Well, go be with someone else who has a different relationship with the feminine. Because I'm sick of it. I'm not going to be whined at by my inner feminine or my outer feminine. I work my ass off for you. I want you to do the same for me. Let's be equals here. Let's be adults. I've prepared a lot for you, feminine. I thought you might enjoy this. I thought you might enjoy that. Do you like it? That's also a conversation I have. How can I make you happy in there? How can I love you? What can I do? So sometimes I'll stay in bed for an extra hour so that I can just feel a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's like, yes, I like that. Okay, you got it, feminine. I'm going to schedule my appointments after 2 p.m. Why? You can get up when you want. You can feel into things. You can explore. I can lay there and sit there with you. And when you know what you want to do, that's what we're going to do. And so we're not going to schedule stuff, before then. And so let's do that. And it's like, yes, I like it. And then I want to be praised. It's like, wow, I really like that. That's great. You set up your whole business so that I can sleep in? Yes, I did. Well, thank you. Thank you for doing that again and again. You bought baguettes and grapes and buffalo mozzarella and stuff so that I could figure out what I felt like eating at the moment. I did. I did it for you. Thank you. Thank you for paying attention to that detail. I honor your devotion, your love, your care to me. That's a big deal. You're my man. I like you. And I like seeing how you grow. You came up with those ideas so I could listen to them. I like hearing those ideas. Thank you. Because we're a team. And one of the easiest ways to alienate me on the outside, having a nice balance of this on the inside, is laziness, entitlement, whining, lack of gratitude. Because one of the ways you can really hurt someone is when they show up. When they try to honor and show up. And you just, it's not good enough, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. Now, that's fine if there's a response like, could it be like this? Could it be like this? I would be so much happier. And this is what I ask my feminine. And this is what I'll tell my lovers as well. It's like, I would be so much happier if you would give my feminine a dark chocolate with a little bit of this, a colorful, these colors, like I like these colors. So, I want some of this boldness. I want you to get that there's a part of my femininity that's queenly, that's demanding, that likes to have what she wants, that likes to be the center of attention. And when you give that to me and honor that part in me, my feminine likes you. My feminine wants to hang out with you because you get it. We can connect on that level. And so there's a chemistry or a disconnection as we consider how, does the inner relationship match the outer relationship? Or much more importantly, because the inner dialogue comes first. Your relationship with your masculine and feminine comes first. Meaning if your feminine says, I would really love a nice winter jacket, and your masculine says, yeah, not happening. I can't be bothered to study money. I can't be bothered to, you're not worth it. You're not worth it. Now, this is a very interesting dynamic. You're not worth it. Because this also externalizes. When your masculine won't fight for your feminine as a man or as a woman, the broadcast message to everyone else is you're not worth it. And so you tend to attract and create someone who agrees with you that you're not worth it. So the guy who's theoretically supposed to provide, you say, I would love a smoothie, this and that. It's like, yeah, I know, but I can't be bothered to go out and get you one. I can't be bothered to make one. You do it yourself. And then rather than your own masculine saying, great, I am worth it. I am going to do it for myself. Let me get out, make my smoothie, this and that, the other. But I'm also not going to hang around with a lazy guy. I am worth it. My inner masculine can take care of my inner feminine. And you've got to show some respect to my inner feminine, or you don't get the right to take care of my inner feminine because my masculine is on the job. When you've got that kind of a dynamic, a man understands, okay, sure, yes, I want to fuck, I want to do this, I like to spend time, but I'm going to have to earn it. And it's not a petulant dynamic, it's a powerful dynamic. What makes it powerful is the willingness of the masculine inside to fight and make it happen regardless. I'm going to do it myself, or I'm going to find another guy who can. I am worth this. And this is a powerful chemistry. It starts on the inside, it moves to the outside. Now, in the next segment, we're going to look at, how to find something worthy. Relationships, good relationships are so valuable. They're so important. You can grow more in a relationship than you can grow in almost any other way. You can love more in a relationship than almost any other way. You can love yourself more in a relationship than you can outside of relationship. There's so much that you can do. And so to make something that's more valuable than the relationship a reason to end it, I think we owe ourselves more than the idea that, automatically my career is just going to be more important. Now, sometimes a career can be. But what is it that's so precious, that's so important, that I would be willing to forfeit, to sacrifice? What is it that is so sacred that I would be willing to give up a decent relationship in order to have something more? Perhaps another relationship, perhaps deepening the relationship with self, something more. So that's what we're going to explore on the next video.